Today on the list, ways to avoid the post-wedding blues, the pranksters of social media, and simple tricks to keep vegetables fresh.
It puts an extra week of lifespan onto your spinach.
Plus, why now might be the right time to buy a house.
FHA loans are a good deal right now.
But up first, how to protect yourself from an online scam. It's your life, it's your list, and it starts right now.
Hey everyone, I'm Jimmy Rhodes. Technology is surging forward every day, and in many ways that's great. But it also means scammers will be innovating new ways to separate you from your money. It's not easy to keep up, so we're running down some of the biggest scams out there right now and how you can fight back. And that's our featured story at the top of the list.
Fake emails, hack social media accounts. The internet is crawling with scams. Burton Kelso's owned a computer repair company for 30 years.
We go on site and fix computers and do remote tech support.
In that time, he's watched the digital world evolve in many ways, including as a hotspot for fraud. So we turned to Burton to learn about the latest tech scams. First on his list, Facebook Marketplace fraud.
Facebook Marketplace is an online marketplace where people can buy and sell items.
Every month, more than 1 billion people worldwide use it. Facebook has policies in place to protect you, but scams do still happen.
You pay for the item, the criminal just takes your money and runs off with it, or they ship you a bogus or fake item.
Be careful when shipping items.
They claim that they've sent you money, or they will send you a bogus check. You deposit the check, and then the check will bounce, and then you will lose your item.
Burton suggests checking the other person's profile.
You need to verify that it's a real account by seeing when they created their Facebook account and verifying that they actually have friends on Facebook.
And if you meet face to face,
make sure that you're going to a public place to do the transaction. So a gas station, police departments.
Next, social media account scams.
First, a scammer can duplicate your account.
They set up a fake account and send requests to your friends. He says you can prevent this by hiding your friend list. But if it does happen to you,
change your profile picture on your social media accounts to make sure that it is different than what the criminal is using.
And have your friends report the fake account. Now, why do these fraudsters want to connect with your friends?
The sole purpose of them sending scam or spam messages to them in order to get people to click on a link.
Their latest ploy is an especially cruel one. They type, "Look who died," with a link to a news article. If you click it, your device is infected with malware, allowing them to steal your login info.
Contact your friend or family member to see if they sent you the link via email or messenger to verify that they're the ones that sent it and to keep yourself safe.
And finally, phishing scams.
You get a call from Amazon saying there's a problem with your order and they need your credit card information to rectify the situation. That would be a phishing scheme.
Burton says most legit companies won't call or email you.
The whole goal behind phishing schemes, whether it comes in text messaging, voice phone calls, or email, is to get information that's going to make criminals money.
He says most companies communicate directly through their website or app.
Go directly to the entity calling's website to verify that it's coming from a legitimate source.
If something seems fishy, hang up and call the company directly.
Be aware, stay safe, and watch what you click on.
Slamming down the latest scams is at the top of the list.
We've all been there. You go to the fridge to make a salad, but everything you plan to put in it is, let's say, a little bit dated. It can be hard to get through all your fruits and veggies before they go bad, and that's a waste of money. So Terry Olette rounded up some tricks to extend the lifespan of your produce.
You ever open an avocado that you just bought 3 days ago and it's already brown inside? Yeah, we've all been there. The USDA estimates that 30 to 40% of our food supply goes to waste every year. Over 200 pounds per person.
So many people have the best intentions of eating healthier and they go stock up on a bunch of produce at the grocery store. When you don't store your produce properly, it can end up in the trash can, which is such a sad feeling.
Produce can be especially tricky to keep fresh. But Tony Okamoto, author of Plant-Based on a Budget, Quick and Easy, is here to help with some tricks that can extend the lifespan of your groceries. First up, our previously mentioned nemesis, avocados. If you bring home an avocado that is green and hard to squish,
You're going to keep it on the counter for just a couple days. And once it gives just slightly to your finger's touch, you're going to put it in the refrigerator. And that's going to add at least 4 to 5 days to your avocado. So no longer will you be totally disappointed with a sad avocado.
next up, a trick for spinach that works for both bagged and regular greens.
Store them in an airtight container. Take some paper towels. I put one at the bottom. I spread them out as much as possible. And then I put one at the top.
Paper towels soak up the excess moisture that makes spinach go bad so quickly.
Close it up like this and store it in the refrigerator. And it puts an extra week of lifespan onto your spinach.
Another tricky green can be cilantro.
Treat it just like you would a bouquet of flowers.
Trim the stems and then put them in a glass of water as if it's a vase.
Take a plastic bag or a silicone bag and cover the top and store it in the refrigerator. And I'm talking about maybe 10 to 14 days of your cilantro being totally fine.
Last up, tofu.
Tofu is often found in the produce section of the grocery store, and it sometimes has people a little bit confused on how to store it.
She says you want to replicate how it comes in the package, airtight, submerged in water, and keep it in the fridge.
You can bring your tofu to life in 2 weeks after you store it and use it just like you had opened it originally.
We're being economical and eco-friendly by extending the lives of our produce.
Banks are collapsing, inflation is surging, interest rates are going haywire. Sounds like the perfect time to make the biggest investment of your life and buy a home, right? Well, maybe it's not so bad if you buy smart. Zach Perry's looking at what you need to know before you buy in a crazy economy.
It's a scary time to buy a home, so don't do it before you hear advice from an expert.
Right now, we can predict that housing inventory will stay low, at least for the rest of the year. What's unpredictable is what the Fed will do and how that will affect interest rates, how it will affect consumer psychology.
For what to consider when buying a house, we talked to Greg Haig, CEO of real estate company 72 Sold. Let's start with first-time homebuyers.
FHA loans are a good deal right now. It's below conventional rates.
He says first-time homebuyers usually won't have the funds for a large down payment
because they haven't built equity in a home. So FHA loans with as little as 3% down and a loan limit in the 500s, that's very attractive to first-time homebuyers.
But Greg says be wary of news reports.
Current news, in a way, is actually old news if they're listening to news that home values are going down. Currently, in most parts of the country, home values have stabilized and are starting to go back up.
So if you buy now,
you're buying at probably the bottom of the market.
Next, low home inventory.
The Phoenix metro market is really looked on across the country as an example of what you see in a lot of other markets. We have 2 million homes, big market, medium price range.
Looking at the numbers in April, historically,
the number of homes that were listed for sale in the first 9 days in April, each of the past years typically ranged from a low of 1,200 homes to a high of 2,400 homes.
In 2023,
it was 611. That's a 23-year low.
And
that we're seeing be true across the country.
Greg says many homeowners are hesitant to move because they bought when the interest rate was low.
A lot of sellers don't want to move from a 3% rate to buy a home at a 6% rate, so they stay where they are.
His advice?
And get out in the market and find something. But when you do, snap it up because it'll be worth more in a year.
Finally, don't get tunnel vision.
Buying the home can be an emotional experience, but try at least when you're making the buy to take the emotion out of it.
Because he has a saying,
a problem is a set of facts compounded by emotion.
Therefore,
there really are no problems, there are only facts if you take the emotion out.
The same holds true when buying a home.
Know your data, know what other homes are for sale at, know what has sold and closed, and then make your decision on what you pay based on the data, not on your emotion.
Make your dream home a reality with tips from a real estate pro.
Still to come on the list, how to retain your self-identity after marriage.
And that's a huge change and a huge loss if you are used to your own freedom.
Plus, the life and legacy of rapper Tupac Shakur.
It was my responsibility to teach Tupac how to survive his reality.
And Live Illusions giving social media a shock. All that and more ahead on the list.
Welcome back. Now, first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes sadness. It turns out some complicated emotions can creep into what people assume is a honeymoon period. Jackie Denker's looking at the phenomenon known as the post-wedding blues.
Weddings are all about joy and excitement. But after you walk the aisle and into the supposed bliss of marriage, you can hit a wall.
50% of people who get married experience some kind of low, some kind of anxiety, sadness, possible depression after the wedding.
That feeling even has a name, post-wedding blues. But sex and relationship therapist Kate McKenzie says there are ways to avoid and even beat this mindset after tying the knot. The first step is to accept that it is okay to feel this way and acknowledge why.
However long you've been planning that wedding, however big or small, quite a lot of work, intention, saving, doing, organizing.
Your body is going through an emotional withdrawal after an intense high of preparing for months or even years.
It's one day, it's got all that pressure to fulfill a lot of things. You can imagine how there could be a crash after that.
You may even be grieving your singleness.
When we get the job of our dreams, sometimes we lose some of the free time we might have had. But when we get married, we lose singleness. It's like when you become a mum or a dad, you suddenly do not have the same time that you had. And that's a huge change and a huge loss if you are used to your own freedom.
Pressures of society may also play a role.
Society said you've got to have a house or a home or a car or a marriage or a baby or whatever. People follow the trajectory of what they've been programmed to do.
So, Kate says in order to prepare for the marriage and not just the wedding, you need to ask yourself the right questions.
What are you committing to? What are your vows? What is your heart saying to you?
By answering those questions ahead of time, you can save yourself from confusing feelings later.
Ideally, there would be some kind of emotional or spiritual or mental preparation, because it's an enormous change.
And just because you're committed to somebody doesn't mean you should lose yourself in the relationship. The final step to avoiding post-wedding blues is to always remember who you are.
Give yourself rest and recuperation and community and friendship and sweetness.
Get back into your normal routine and remember to communicate with your partner. And if you're still struggling, it's okay to seek help from a pro.
As soon as you admit a problem, you let the light in. But ultimately, the journey of love is a journey of the heart. And that's the journey that's unknown.
We're learning how to say I don't to post-wedding blues.
Do you love pranks and mischief? Now, we're not trying to give anyone any crazy ideas, but Teresa Strasser does have a few TikTok channels where pranking is elevated to an art form. Hey, Teresa.
Thank you. With more than 790 million likes combined, these pranksters are making the world a funnier place. Well, at least for those of us watching from afar. Coming in at number 1, Mr. Beast.
Would y'all like to have some pie with us?
Oh, wow, absolutely. Before I can cut it up, do you mind pulling this thing off the top? Dude, are you kidding me?
What are you
gonna spend the $10,000 on? Anything she wants.
Jimmy Donaldson, better known as Mr. Beast, is known for his YouTube channel where he pranks people in the best, most extreme way with money.
Next trick-or-treater wins $10,000.
Hey, here's $10,000.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Of course.
Okay, honestly, I'm not usually one for pranks, but Mr. Beast, feel free to come by anytime. At number 2, Shahar Livneh 1. Shahar Livneh is a mentalist, mind reader, and magician who loves to play pranks. And especially on people least suspecting it. He's just like us. He puts his pants on one leg at a time, and then he creeps people out with them. And last on our list of TikTok pranksters, Bay Area Bushman. The Bay Area Bushman, well, he's unidentified, but is always dressed head to toe in shrubbery with his cell phone ready to capture his next scare. He says he got his inspiration from the world-famous Bushman and has been scaring people ever since. Gets him every time. And those were some TikTok pranksters making the world a funnier place. More to come on the list. Stay with us.
The list is always available on YouTube with ways to keep you healthy.
All right, let's go.
It's your life, it's your list, and it's there for you on YouTube at The List Show TV.
We're back. On the watch list, legendary rapper Tupac Shakur would have been 52 this year. And while we know a bit about his tough upbringing, the story of his mother and their one-of-a-kind relationship has never been told until now. Director Alan Hughes gave Jackie Denker some insights into the FX 5-part docuseries, Dear Mama.
My name is Tupac Shakur, and I attend Tampapai High School.
Most of us only know the rapid rise and ultimate fall of rap icon Tupac Shakur. But few know about the enormous impact his mother, Afeni, had on his life.
It was my responsibility to teach Tupac how to survive his reality.
The new FX docuseries Dear Mama explores the life and times of Afeni and Tupac Shakur. Director Alan Hughes and executive producer Jamal Joseph share some highlights, starting with how Afeni shaped a legend.
She was his everything, and she did instill everything that's great about him that we know about him, whether you're talking about a social justice warrior, a poet, a supreme artist.
I have a revolutionary story that I must tell. My hands refuse to be beaten by this tormented cell.
That revolutionary spirit is a part of Tupac. The late rapper was named for the last Incan leader who stood up to the Spaniards, Tupac Amaru.
And that name symbolized what Afeni wanted him to be in terms of his consciousness and position in the world.
My mother taught me to analyze society and not be quiet. If there's something on my mind, speak it.
Afeni didn't just impact her son, she helped shape modern activism.
She was always about empowerment and having people find their voices before there were words for that.
My mother was a Black Panther, and she was really involved in the movement.
My mother never let me forget my history, hoping I was set free, chains that were put on me.
Everyone that she came in contact with in the movement was get them to see their great inner strength, their potential, and their leadership and their ability to change the world.
We'll wrap with the legacy left behind by Tupac and Afeni.
Is there heaven for a G? Remember me, so many homies in the cemetery.
He's become a global symbol of rebellion, period.
Besides helping to shape modern, peaceful activism, Afeni's legacy was that of nurturing future leaders.
I had the pleasure of also being raised by Afeni Shakur, raised by women, but at a critical time in my life as an adolescent. Afeni was there as a big sister, as a mentor. We were co-defendants on the Panther 21 case.
You can catch the 5-part docuseries on FX and streaming on Hulu now, honoring the lives of Tupac and Afeni Shakur.
And there's no way I can pay you back, but my plan is to show you that I understand.
On the watch list.
Wow, never underestimate the power of a mother's love. And now for a hard left turn, never underestimate how hot that hot sauce is either, or at least have some chocolate on hand. Last on our list is next. Welcome back. It's time for what's last on our list. And from chocolate to Cheetos, it seems like everyone's getting into the super spicy game, including the popular Mexican-adjacent restaurant Chipotle, whose spiciest sauce is their tomatillo red chili salsa. But some patrons got their taste buds in a bunch, claiming that Chipotle must have changed the recipe because the sauce, branded as scorching hot, mind you, is now too hot. To these low-class action complainers, let me suggest that whining that your hot sauce is too hot is like complaining that your frozen margarita is too cold, or your Super Bowl is too super, or the Grand Canyon is simply too grand. So what is really going on here? Well, blame the pandemic. There's a shock. When supply chain snafus tied up Chipotle's usual chilies, sourced from Mexico, India, and other parts of Asia, they found other sources. Well, that kept the product coming, but different peppers meant different and sometimes unpredictable flavors. In fact, laboratory results did indeed find fluctuations in the spiciness of Chipotle's chili salsa. But listen, if you love hot sauce, this ought to be added value. Just supersize the soft drink and maybe downsize the complaining. Folks, that's what's last on our list. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Tomorrow on the list, take a look at what's trending
That's the perfect dress.
in fashion,
All the elements come together in one piece to represent the style.
food,
It's crunchy on the outside. It absorbed all those flavors. That is fantastic.
technology,
It's an advanced version of Siri and Alexa.
and exercise.
Oh my gosh, you have woken up muscles I don't think I've ever used before.
See what's trending tomorrow on the list.